Good morning, children. Today we are going to begin with a new story on the face of it. That is written by Susan Hill. The story is about a teenage boy, Derry, who has a burnt face, and Mr. Lamb, who is a disabled old man with an artificial leg made of tin. Derry accidentally enters his garden so that he can hide himself from people who hate him because of his ugly face. Mr. Lamb not only welcomes him in his garden but also encourages him to lead a normal life. Children, this is a play which is about the friendship between an old man and a young boy who is withdrawn and defiant. Both of them had some physical impairment but outlook of each of them towards life is general and people in particular was very different. The old man had a positive outlook towards life, whereas the young boy with the scarred face had become withdrawn and pessimistic. So the play brings out the idea that the people who have any handicap, physical impairment of some kind, generally suffer from a sense of loneliness and mental pain. It also talks about how appearances are deceptive and most often we go on dealing with impressions and prejudices about others without caring to know about them actually. So let's begin this play. It is given on page number 56 about the author Susan Hill, who was born on 5th February 1942, is an English author of fiction and non-fiction works. Her novels include The Woman in Black, The Mist in the Mirror, and I Am the King of the Castle. She received the Somerset Maugham Award in 1971 for her novel I Am the King of the Castle. She was appointed commander of the Order of the British Empire in the 2012 birthday honors for her services to literature. She is known to explore the inner fears and loneliness that she has specially talked about in this play also. Her works reflect honest suffering and optimism. On the face of it, page number 56, Vistas. This is a play featuring an old man and a small boy meeting in the farmer's garden. The old man strikes up a friendship with the boy who is very withdrawn and defiant. Defiant means bold in speaking, opposing in speaking. What is the bond that unites the two? Scene 1. Mr. Lamb's garden. There is an occasional sound of bird song and of tree leaves rustling. Derry's footsteps are heard as he walks slowly and tentatively through the long grass. Tentatively means he is walking, then stopping, again walking, and then stopping, as if he is afraid of something or afraid of being caught. You can say, he pauses, then walks on again. He comes round a screen of bushes, so that when Mr. Lamb speaks to him, he is close at hand, and Derry is startled. He is shocked or amazed. The narrator describes the setting of scene 1. The location is Mr. Lamb's garden. One can occasionally hear the birds singing and the low sound of trees' leaves. And Derry, a young boy, enters the garden hesitatingly, as it is written, tentatively. Then he comes out of the bushes. He is surprised to hear Mr. Lamb talking to him. Mr. Lamb says, "Mind the apples." Derry replies, "Oh, what? Who's that? Who's there?" "Lamb's my name." "Mind the apples. Crab apples those are. Wind falls in the long grass. You could trip." There, I thought this was an empty place. I didn't know there was anybody here." So children, here Mr. Lamb warns him about the crab apples that usually fell in the long grass from the tree above. Derry was shocked on hearing the voice and he asked as to who it was. Mr. Lamb introduced himself and also said that small sour apples, crab apples are sour apples known as crab apples, had fallen on the ground. If Derry would not be careful while walking through the grass, he could trip over, means tumble down over the apples and get hurt. Derry said that he didn't know that someone was present in the garden. He thought that it would be empty place, and even the house seemed empty to him. So on the next page, that's all right. I am here. What are you afraid of, boy? That is all right. I thought it was empty, an empty house. So it is. Since I am out here in the garden, it is empty until I go back inside. In the meantime, I am out here likely to stop. A day like this, beautiful day, not a day to be indoors. So Mr. Lamb is watching Derry carefully, and Derry is as if caught, and he feels himself to be just like a thief. And he says that he thought that it was an empty place, that is why he had entered into the garden. If he would have known that somebody is there, he would have not entered there. So Derry, in panic, he says, I have got to go. Not on my account, Mr. Lamb says. Not on my account means I am not asking you to go. The gate's always open. Only you climb the garden wall. Now Derry is angry. He says, you were watching me? Mr. Lamb tried to comfort him by saying that the house was empty as he was out in the garden, because he wanted to suggest that there was nobody else in the house. And he also asked him not to be afraid, but still Derry was in panic and Derry wanted to leave the place. Mr. Lamb tried to stop him and said that there was no need to leave the garden just because of him. He also told him that he kept the gate open for people. It was only Derry who jumped the wall. Now this made Derry angry. Derry got angry for being pointed out that like that, and he also clarified that he hadn't come to steal anything from there. So further he says that I saw you, but the gate's open. All welcome, you are welcome. I sit here, I like sitting. I had not come to steal anything. No, no, the young lad steals the apples. You are not so young. I just wanted to come into the garden. So you did. Here we are then. You don't know who I am. A boy of 13 or so? 14. But I have got to go now. Goodbye. So, as Derry had got angry for being pointed out like that, he told that he hadn't come to steal anything, as I said. And then Mr. Lamb agreed by saying to him that at many times apples had been stolen by young boys, and that Derry was not so young. But still Derry wanted to leave. Mr. Lamb told him not to be afraid of him and asked him to stay there for a while. But Derry told him that he was not afraid of anyone. Rather, people were afraid of him. Nothing to be afraid of, just a garden, just me, but I am not. I am not. People are afraid of me. Why should that be? Everyone is. It doesn't matter who they are or what they say or how they look, how they pretend. I know, I can see. See what? What they think. What do they think then? You think, here is a boy, you look at me, and then you say my face and you think, that's bad, that's a terrible thing. That's the ugliest thing I ever saw. You think, poor boy, but I am not. Not poor underneath. You are afraid. Anybody would be. I am. When I look into the mirror and see it, I am afraid of me. So Derry wanted to say that he was not afraid of anyone, rather people were afraid of him. And when Lamb asked him the reason for that, he told him that he knew what people thought and how they behaved in front of him. Mr. Lamb questioned him about what others thought of him. To that, Derry said that people got scared on seeing his face. Some considered it bad or ugly, it might be, and that is why they were afraid of him. And actually, they were all afraid of his face. He even got scared of his own face when he looked into the mirror. He added that Mr. Lamb will also pity him like the others, but He doesn't like it and therefore he wants to leave. So further on page number 58, he says, no, not the whole of you, not of you. Yes, Derry said. So Derry is again and again emphasizing that people are afraid of him and therefore he wants to leave. Mr. Lamb will be soon uh, also getting afraid or scared of him, and he will also not like to talk to him because of his ugly face. So Mr. Lamb says that not the complete of the boy is terrifying. To that Derry says yes, because he feels, because he has been made to realize that because of his ugly features he appears to be terrifying and nobody wants to be with him or talk to him. Then there is a pause. Miss Lan says, later on when it's a bit cooler, I will get the ladder and stick and pull down those crab apples. They are ripe for it. I make jelly. It's a good time. It's a good time of year, September. Look at them, orange and golden. That's magic fruit. I often say, but it's best picked and made into jelly. You could give me a hand. So Mr. Lamb is continuing to talk with him, and he said that he wasn't afraid of Terry, so he can stay with him. Mr. Lamb told him that he would bring a ladder and stick and pick fine and ripe crab apples as they made a good jelly. And he also told him that in September they get ripe and become a magic fruit having orange and golden color. He also asked him to join him in doing so, in helping him out. And then Derry gets irritated by this. Derry says, what have you changed the topic for? Subject for? People always do that. Why don't you ask me? Why do you do that? They all do and pretend it isn't there and isn't there. In case I see you looking and mind it and get upset, I tell you, you don't ask me because you are afraid to. So Derry pointed out to Mr. Lamb that he was very irritated at this point that he had also changed the topic just like the other people did. He added that Mr. Lamb didn't ask him about his face because he was afraid of asking about it. Derry got annoyed and said that he did not like the company of people. Mr. Lamb guessed that maybe his face got burned in some fire, and so here he says that you want me to ask? Say so then. So Mr. Lamb asked Derry if he wanted him to ask about his face. Derry said, I don't like being with people, any people. So to that Mr. Lamb says, I should say to look at it, I should say you got burned in a fire. Not in a fire, I got acid all down that side of my face and it burned it all away. It ate my face up, it ate me up, and now it's like that. And it won't ever be any different. So Mr. Lamb continued. Mr. Lamb said that he was guessing that it might be possible that his face got burned in some fire. Terry told him that it was due to acid that he had burned half of his face, and he was so grieved and he kept on repeating that acid ate his face and that it would never get cured. Mr. Lamb did not agree to this though, but he was just listening to whatever Derry was speaking. Children, Derry feels that his whole personality is spoiled because of that ugly face, because even if he has something good in himself, people tend to ignore. They do not give importance to the good qualities or the features he has, because people pay attention only upon his ugly face, and that makes him irritated, and that has changed his personality, his attitude, and that has become a fault of his personality. So that is why he is so angry at it.